Welcome to AutoSuccess, the podcast, where each week we present ideas, tips, and strategies from automotive industry leaders that you can put to use today for your sales success. Now here's your host, Thomas Williams.
Welcome back, listeners. Today on AutoSuccess, the podcast, we're speaking with Dwayne Marino, founder and master trainer for Dwayne Marino Automotive Solutions. Today, we'll be talking about getting out of your own way when selling cars. Dwayne, it's a pleasure to speak with you. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Thomas. Glad to be here.
Let's start with our AutoSuccess Under the Hood question. This is a chance for us and our audience to get to know you better, Dwayne. Since it's your first time with us, let's simply start by having you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in this industry.
Okay. I actually started off at 16 years of age, changing oil. Then I went to work at a Chrysler dealership for about 2.5, 3 years. They went under. I was graduating from university. I went to work for that time for General Motors and GMAC, one of which is not around anymore. Was there for 7 years, did all kinds of stuff there. Then went back out into retail for 2 or 3 years. I started the first CRM piece in the automotive business back in the mid-90s. And I've got a training and consulting company. We do online training, live training, and dealership, all that stuff. So that's sort of my the automotive piece. Up until, I would say I was halfway through my time at General Motors. Actually, I always had either a business on the side or had another job or something going. Always been hardworking, kind of creative, but on the automotive side, just really quickly skimming through it, that would be it.
Thank you for sharing your background with us, Dwayne. It's your experience in the dealership that we'd like to use today in finding out how to get out of your own way to sell cars. In general, what are some insidious mindsets that keep salespeople from achieving their full potential?
Yeah, I've been in a lot of different businesses, and showrooms in general can be an extremely negative environment, unfortunately. So that often negativity stems from the personalities in the building or just the amount of rejection that we get in the car business. Customers definitely don't treat it the same way as they do other industries when they walk in, just their overall demeanor and body language towards us. So I really think the number one job of anybody in our business is to keep their mindset clear, have some techniques to, I call it mental hygiene, whatever that is, whatever works for you. But attitude drives everything. You can study process, you can be great with people and all the rest of it. But if you're in the wrong frame of mind, if you just don't have the emotional resources to deal with it consistently day in and day out in this business, it's extremely tough to really reach anywhere near your potential. So I'd say the number one thing is mindset.
And what's the difference between a sales manager and a sales administrator? And how can these people make the change to see higher sales and a better work environment?
There's a lot of pressure on managers today on the paperwork side. It could be dealer trades, just managing inventory, different HR things. Sales managers generally spend more time on the floor than they do in their offices. So how can we help move sales administrators into more of a sales management role? I think a couple things. I think management needs to look at what they're doing day in and day out and ask themselves, is there anything here I could delegate to somebody that's, paid an hourly wage, that's maybe not doing, the valuable things a manager should be doing to grow their business. I mean, as a sales manager, it's right in the title, their job is to manage people so that we can sell. How salespeople can help with that is learn your career, study the process your management wants you to use. If management has to keep constantly resetting every single salesperson on the floor every time they touch a deal, simple things like, misplacing keys, can't find plates, where to gas up cars are always empty. These little things take away from management time as far as their ability to actually help salespeople build their sales, i.e., walking the floor and, making contacts for them and calls and emailing or texting customers on their behalf. So if we could stay in stock a little more often, we're doing less dealer trades. If the salespeople train themselves better and understand that by them becoming professionals, they help the sales team function better front to back, because it is a sales team. I think that would be a big help to the managers out there that really want to do more managing, but maybe are just pushed too much on the administrative side.
In your experience, Dwayne, what do successful salespeople do differently than average or sub-average salespeople?
It's really thought process and attitude. Like I said, really drives whatever, system you're going to be using. I had a few really influential things in my background when I was, working actually still at General Motors and being trained to be a trainer at that time, which really started to build into the career I've been doing that the last couple of decades. I got to see what a great salesperson is. I went to a training course in Birmingham. Company's not around anymore. It's called Key Royal Automotive. I had never received training before that. and I got a blueprint that I could see would work. I was able to see these guys, back at their dealerships actually doing it. Best salesperson at my dealership that I was at before that was 11 cars a month. Then years later, I meet Joe Girard. So I think you got to have your eyes wide open all the time. You got to be looking for better approaches. You have to drop your ego, and you have to know your outcome, which is, what's your targets? What do you want to hit this month? Is it going to be income? Is it going to be unit sales? Hopefully it's a combination of both. What's your personal purpose? Like, what's your motivating why? We all listen to the same radio station. I know it sounds corny, WIIFM, which is, what's in it for me. But why do you want to hit these targets? Do you want to live in a better house? Do you want your children to be proud of you? Would you want to maybe pay off some debts? Do you want to make a certain amount of money, retire in a certain way, take a type of vacation? Always, always have the why attached to the outcome that you want. So outcome, purpose, and the last one is actions and activity. You got to do the work. You can't just pray and meditate. You got to do the work. You got to show up early. You got to go home late when those days are required. And you got to get better at your skill set all the time, because all you've really got is your skills. And the great thing about our business is when you master those skills are with you for life. Nobody can ever take those away from you. So it's a combination of a lot of things. And I would just say those are fairly important for most salespeople that want to become better.
What are some simple steps salespeople can take every day that will make a difference in their career over the long term?
Organization is a huge one. A lot of salespeople can't sell any more than they're selling. If it's 8 cars a month or 28 cars a month, and Joe Girard taught me this, and I got to see it firsthand with him, the Guinness Book of World Record car salesperson, is organization is extremely important, because you often will work yourself out of your capacity because you're not organized to get yourself beyond that. So I would always address that first. Then what they've got to do is they've got to hone their craft. They've got to look at it like a career. A lot of us didn't go to university for this, never even finished school. But now you're in a job or a career that you can make a lot of money and secure yourself for a long time. And you've got to take that career mindset into it, really make it part of your life. If you want to get obsessed about your success and being, better at any step of the sale or, overall in your own career, I would say you've basically got to take it serious. A lot of salespeople are in this job, J-O-B. That's why they're just over broke, because they don't attack it like somebody would attack it if it was a career they went to school for 3 to 5 to 7 years and got $100,000 in debt to do so. But we have the same opportunities. A lot of people, friends and family that did that, we have the same financial opportunities they have. So take your career seriously, pay attention.
Dwayne, how can salespeople, managers, F&I, and other team members work together to make a car shopping experience for the customer better while seeing better profits?
Okay. So mind my language here and have a little bit of fun, but I talk about sin training. So first concept is we're a team. So we win together, we lose together. I'm not into finger pointing. I hope nobody's lying to each other what they're going on. As long as we can trust each other that we're actually giving everybody in the building the scoop of what's happening with any transaction or, in the business, we're a sales team. So no finger pointing allowed. From there, everybody's got to Goya, which is get off your ass. Customer walks in, that's priority. Phone rings, that's priority. Email lead comes in, that's priority. If a manager is seen walking the showroom, MBWA, managed by walking around, none of these are new terms. Customers want to see management. Salespeople need to see management. They're freer to walk the floor if they do some of those things I talked about earlier as far as doing our job properly to free up our managers so they can do that. But I would suggest, if we all got our asses or assets lined up in the same direction and took a sales team mentality, the real winner at the end of the day is the customer. But then, we end up dropping transaction times as a result of that. Your profits and closing ratios go up. So we need a dynamic like that on the floor. It's the sales team. It's something that takes a while to build. You need the right people and processes, but it's definitely achievable. And a lot of my clients are in that zone. It's a pretty nice sweet spot to be working in this business when you've got an environment like that.
Dwayne, we talked earlier about what sales managers and administrators should be doing, but what do employees need from their leaders at a dealership to help them work at their peak performance?
Q here from the military, and also if you have children, we do need discipline. A lot of us resist it, but discipline really can squeeze the potential out of everybody. So I think we need consistent management style, consistent management personalities day to day. We need to have to, all in the dealership, whatever your department is, understand the processes in which you're supposed to do, which should be pretty, fairly consistent. So it's not changing. It's not a moving target day in and day out. And if those things happen, you generally have better job satisfaction because people are learning, they're growing, they're probably making more money, be more successful. And then that always turns back into employee retention. People that feel that the company they're working for is investing in them, spending time with them, coaching them, developing them. If they're getting better in any way most days, they don't move around. And if we have employee retention, the whole operation is much easier to run from an internal standpoint. And customers, when they walk in, that consistency of face, really, really important, because let's face it, a business is bricks and mortar and cars, but it's the people inside the building that make the difference. So I think employee retention and, this whole concept of developing and coaching us all and just keeping our finger on the pulse every day is absolutely crucial. I was at a dealership yesterday, with this dealer group I do work with, and I pulled in at 7:30 in the morning. I wanted to get there before the traffic got, very heavy, and it was in Calgary, Alberta, in Canada, and it was cold, lots of snow and ice already on the ground there. And everybody's outside with their jackets and hats on. We've got about 9 managers, and they're walking, awful weather, and they're walking a lot together. And I pulled up beside them and I'm going like, this is impressive. I don't see this much. They go every single morning, 20 after 7 in the morning, management walks a lot. Then they check out the website. Then they do their pending deals for F&I. Then they do their one-on-ones for salespeople. Obviously you can tell just from that, successful company, and a company I love training with because they actually get it and they're going to try to do what they can do to make themselves better.
And finally, Dwayne, what idea would you like to leave with our listeners today?
That all of us have a lot of potential in a lot of areas that we're not using. And I do write down my goals. I read them every day for 5 seconds. Your brain works pretty quickly. I also look at my gratitudes. And gratitudes to me are, about fulfillment. So if you're goal-oriented, that's sort of the science of achievement, and you keep your brain in that space, you're going to get more of those things happening. You're going to be a better time manager as a result of it, because you're focusing only on things that you think are going to help you move forward in your life. And if you are also at the same time focused on what you're grateful for, what's good in your life, and you've got that fulfillment going on, I can't think of anything better, when it does happen for me, thank God it does happen most days, that I'm able to focus on achievement and fulfillment. And that's a science and an art, but fulfillment without achievement, kind of tough. Achievement without fulfillment is a pretty miserable life, actually. So the two together, there's a balance, and you'll find, how you should be living, and your destiny for you and your family and your company lies somewhere in there. But I wouldn't focus only on one or the other. That's if I could leave you with one thought, goals and gratitudes to me, it's the difference that makes a difference every single day, no matter what kind of day I'm having, if I'm at work or not. That's how I like to live my life.
Some great techniques to take your sales approach to the next level and better your career. We appreciate your time today, Dwayne.
Okay, thanks very much, Thomas.
Our guest today has been Dwayne Marino, founder and master trainer for Dwayne Marino Automotive Solutions. For more information about his company, visit DwayneMarino.com. That's DuaneMarino.com.
Thanks for listening to AutoSuccess, the podcast. For information about AutoSuccess, look us up at AutoSuccessOnline.com, where you'll find previous episodes, our blog, online versions of our past issues, and many more success-driven solutions available for free. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions about this show or future shows, email us at podcast@AutoSuccessOnline.com. Now make it a successful day.